Hello, everybody. Welcome to the HR Roundtable. I'm PJ Trudeau. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so glad that you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about the strategic edge, building your personal brand as an HR leader. Definitely an area where I think a lot of us wish we had an opportunity to spend more time and know that we need to, but actually doing it is certainly very different. And amazing consultant that is joining us today that's going to really give us a lot of fantastic information on this area is Ellen Barker Dunnigan. She is a recognized expert in career management and a sought after career strategist, an executive coach, and a facilitator. She specializes in helping people create and market powerful personal brands as an intentional strategic tool to career resources. Ellen's philosophy as a coach is that everyone has a unique set of skills, strengths, and experiences. She believes that identifying and claiming what makes us unique as an added benefit, becoming more confident in bringing our authentic selves to work. With 20 plus years of experience in organizational change, professional development, and human resources, Ellen enjoyed a series of HR leadership roles within a variety of industries where she focused on attracting and retaining top talent by creatively building internal career development programs that supported the values and missions of the organization. She also taught employees how to take a highly active role in their professional development and become more accountable for the results they produced. Today, Ellen focuses on helping HR leaders elevate their strategic impact, strengthen their executive presence, and be perceived as key partners in shaping the future of their organizations. She regularly coaches HR leaders on the importance of gaining clarity on their professional brands and their value to enhance their effectiveness in driving transformational change. Ellen, let me turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, PJ. That was a lot. And it reminds me how much it took me and how many tries it took me to write that iteration of me. And then I rewrite it to fit to another audience, or I decide to shrink it and decide what makes me sound like a personal branding expert, or where would I have the most impact when I'm talking to this audience, and what do I need to include in that? And that is a great illustration of what it takes to put our personal brands together. And I got to those places on my LinkedIn profile, in my resume long ago, in my executive bio that you just, read from, by collecting and collecting and collecting data. And then mining that data so that I could pick through the pieces that really represented me, keep the things that I wanted to keep and own, and actually be able, with a lot of freedom, to drop the things that I didn't want to be known for anymore. So, one of the things that I became known for over the years that I started to do with all of my clients was this personal branding. And at the heart of all of my coaching with my clients was one thing. I was getting to know them as who they were as people, and really, really helping them get to know themselves. And that took a lot of active listening on my part. It took a lot of intuition, curiosity, and then the ability to reflect back to them. Did you hear what you just said about yourself? What you just called yourself a unicorn 3 times. Write that down. Tell me more about that. And so, as we go through today, I'm going to offer you opportunities for you all to talk to each other about yourselves and to reflect back to each other what you hear and to dig into what you're saying because it's something that we're not used to doing. We're not used to spending time talking about ourselves. We're not used to spending time investing in ourselves and giving ourselves the priority that we need to go, who am I? What is my brand? How do I define it and not just have to do it when I'm looking for a job? And that's most of the time when we find ourselves, I've got to write about myself. Uh-oh, I got to interview and I've got to talk about myself. I don't even know myself. So, this is something today that I'm going to provide you with some building blocks that are going to help you understand the really key elements of building a personal brand. And you'll have these practical takeaways, and you'll be using each other as resources to help you so that you can get moving on this today. And I'm so happy to be here. I was already saying I'm a huge networker, so I'm so excited to talk to so many different people and expand my network. But I thought we'd have a little fun and do a little warm-up exercise. And I'd love for you to use the chat and to share with us and share with me, what does personal branding mean to you? So sometimes when people hear it, it might be a sentence, it might be an image, it might be a couple of words that they come up with. And I just want you to throw in the chat, what does personal branding mean to you? So please do just, oh, okay. Self-marketing and promoting. Nice, very nice. A snapshot of who you are, how other people perceive me. Absolutely. Keep going. I love this. What's important about personal branding? Why is it so important? What does it mean to have your brand? What could you say about it? Perception is a big, big part of it. Articulating it in a consistent and often concise way is very important too. Okay, what people should know about you. Yes, clear communication of who you are and what you represent, and you believe that's actually really true, your point of view and what you believe and what your philosophies are. Showcasing your strengths and your skills. Absolutely. Anyone else want to chime in? These are all great. And today I also want to reiterate that you can't get anything wrong. This is a process, and it's kind of a complex one too, because it's kind of a complex topic. So I want you all to feel free to do your best and to learn today, because that's the most important thing. So absolutely, showcasing your strengths and your skills, all the things. So I think you guys might have the work done for me today, because what I'm so excited about is hearing, even from these comments, that you're understanding what the concept of personal branding is. And it's not something that's a far and away idea anymore. Oh, how the people I interact with perceive me versus and what my values are. Yep, perfect. Values are a huge part of personal branding. And so when we think about it, today, especially you as HR leaders, personal branding is so important, if not a strategic imperative to your future success as an HR leader. Because as I was talking in the beginning, I'm talking about 2025, right? This year of great unpredictability. But let's go back 5 years from then, and we're talking tidal wave change from COVID to DEI to the new administration. I just did this, now I have to undo it, to remote work. You all have been inundated by so much extraordinary change. And yet, this new tidal wave of change is upon you as well, which is artificial intelligence. So, this is an era where your voice, your leadership voice, your point of view, your ability to act as an executive with influence, to strategically and emotionally intelligently lead. These are all going to become the things that you're going to be able to rise to the top strategically, the seat at the table, and do because AI is going to automate so many things. So it's a scary time, it's an exciting time, it's revolutionary, it's Renaissance-like, and it's a perfect time for you to build your brand because you're going to need it, and it's going to be an essential piece of where HR is headed. So I wanted to bring in some other quotes. This is kind of fun. PJ, I'm going to start sharing. And I wanted to talk about, continue to share, hang on one second, what others have to say about personal branding. And Tom Peters, I love what he says because it's this simple. You are a brand, you're in charge of your brand. There's no single path to success. There's only one right way to create the brand called you. Accept this. Start today or else. Well, this was kind of revolutionary to me. Back in 1997, I wrote a blog post about this, and I was fascinated because what he's saying is that whether you like it or not, and whether you know it or not, you are a brand and you are in charge of your brand. And as we're in charge of our brands, that's such an important component because if we let other people define us, then we're not doing ourselves any service. We are giving away our power. And so we need to take charge and take ownership of our unique set of skills, strengths, and experiences that make us just that, unique. Someone mentioned philosophy, point of view, all of those things. And we need to be able to understand them so that then we can market them and articulate them outward. Jeff Bezos said, "Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room." If I could see your faces or anyone wants to raise their hand, I wonder if anyone worries about that. I wonder what is being said about me when I'm not in the room. I know over the course of my career, I did. And I wonder too if anyone's hoping or this resonates with anyone. I hope they're saying good things about me. Well, those two things, hoping and, oh no, I'm so worried, they are just getting further and further away from you. So when you have a personal brand, you want to know, what are people saying about me? How can I collect feedback about that? Hoping doesn't serve me in building my career and advancing myself and enjoying greater career success and being recognized for my impact and for my value. I need to know. And someone in the chat had mentioned perception. Well, perception is a big, big deal and a real thing. So, how people are going to perceive you by your not being in the room, or even when you don't say a word, is going to be really telling. So, you want to know those things. We're going to be talking about feedback and the importance of that today. Your personal brand is the most important thing you own. Invest in yourself. Again, show of hands on how many people are investing in themselves. I don't know, today for the past 5 years. PJ and I have talked about this more than a few times that HR professionals, HR leaders, we put ourselves way below. And I remember when I was internal as an HR leader myself, I just was getting hit from every angle and then more. I would pick something up, I'd have to put it down, people would interrupt me. I was serving everybody else. And I wasn't investing in me, who I was, and where I wanted my career to go because I was so busy supporting everybody else. So when you invest in yourself, what I say now is more of my mantra and a tagline of mine that I've recently developed, you know, self-care is career care. And you want to be able to care for yourself as hard as it may be. And it's hard for me too. But this is a way for you to care for yourself by investing in yourself and building out your personal brand. And then we have one more, which is this is very whimsical, and I love this. Be yourself because everyone else is already taken. And I love that personal branding allows us the freedom to be ourselves. And as I illustrated earlier, to to own what we really do well and what we want to be known for, and to lean into our natural talents that give us so much energy. Find those things we're doing that we're so energized by and get rid of the things that we don't want to be known for, that don't serve us, or that we don't want to continue working on when it comes to our careers. And just to further this point a little bit, I'm not sure who might be familiar with the Nova Sherm, Dulles Sherm Mentor HR program, but it's an award-winning program, a SHRM Pinnacle award-winning program. And my colleague and good friend, Mary Kitson, has headed this up for the past 20 years, doing so much with it to turn into this pinnacle leadership program for HR professionals. And every year she invites me back to talk to the cohort about a brand called to talk about personal branding. And one of the things that I illustrate is this. If I am looking at Mary and I'm comparing myself to her and her success, well, there's a couple things. To compare is to despair, and comparison is the thief of joy. So if I'm comparing myself to Mary, and when I talk to the cohort, I see a lot of people going, "Oh, I wish I could be like Mary. How can I be like Mary?" So I like to underscore this point to them that, Mary has gotten to where she is because of her unique abilities, because of her brand, what she has pulled together, her experiences, her career trajectory, everything she's done. If I try to follow in Mary's footsteps, it's like trying on someone else's clothes. The fit is wrong, the colors are off, the style, the brand, and I am uncomfortable. And what's also happening is that I'm getting further and further away from the most important thing, and that is me. If I'm concentrating on everyone else, I hear a lot with clients. I talk almost daily with people about imposter syndrome. And that's a great way to go, oh, yeah, I'm really far away from myself. I don't, gosh, your personal brand is going to turn that around and serve as an anchor for you and grow your internal confidence and you'll feel more rooted and confident in who you are, in what you have to offer, and you will actually be more authentic as well. So these are some fun, I love just the illustrations that come with these great quotes. But with my groups, I like to have a little fun too when it comes to branding and what the big brands do well. So PJ, I might need your help here with a little bit of the chat piece. But for whoever would like to call out, I would love to hear your voice. And also you can use the chat. But I want to know, what do you think of when you see this logo? What comes to mind?
I think consistency.
Ah, consistency. Great.
Same fries, New York to Florida.
Oh, great. I love that. Oh, clean bathrooms. Not sure. No. Sometimes you go to a clean bathroom in a McDonald's somewhere, sometimes you don't. But yes. Anyone else want to say anything familiar?
It's globally recognized.
Absolutely. Wildly successful, right? Enduring brand. So I just offer a couple of bullet points when I talk about these fast, high quality food. I mean, I've had some debates in groups that is it high quality food? I'm like, well, I like it, so I'll just keep that. And then this tagline, which also goes with branding, this I'm loving it. And I can't remember the tagline they used to have before this, but they came up with this. The song is memorable and it's an enduring brand. What about this? Who wants to chime in?
Just do it. Yeah.
Just do it. What else when it comes to Nike? Apparel. Yes, lots of it. So I offered this, this action. Yes, absolutely. Just do it. This inspiration, these celebrity endorsements of Nike. And I also add to my talks on this brand. My teenage sons love this brand, and I don't understand for the life of me why they spend $80 on a shirt with this logo. And I grew up with it, and I'm just thinking, why is that? But I never have enough bandwidth to actually get into that with them. So as long as I don't have to pay for it, I'm good with that. All right, here's a good one. What comes to mind?
The best of the best.
Best of the best. Individuality, technology, creativity. I mean, to me, it's like, what is the recent iPhone? I don't even know. I think I'm like eight, models behind. Ever changing. Great. So I added innovation, simplicity, creativity, Nicole. And I added this in-store experience because when I go into Apple, I really see no matter what store I'm in, I'm kind of like, what state, what county, where am I? Because I feel like I'm experiencing the same thing every time I step into an Apple store. Hey, what about this? 20-minute delivery all in one, shopping. Maybe I've heard people say taking over the world, which is a funny one. Maybe it's true. Um, absolutely. So here, the speed, this convenience, we're all getting used to it. Do we have to go anywhere? The one-stop shopping. They have everything we need. I wonder if we're going to leave our houses. I know a lot of people don't. The customer focus and the controversy of it. Some people don't agree, especially now. So I know a lot of people who are buying from Amazon. So there's a lot that's going on with it. And then I thought this was interesting too, because I've had this same kind of conflict with the brand. Prime is supposed to be 1 or 2 days. And I know right now I'm still waiting on sneakers I ordered 3 days ago. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense when Prime is, you buy Prime and then it's getting to you late. So I thought that was interesting as well. Okay, what about this? What do you think of? Reliability, safety, safety, safe, safe. Yes. So that's what they want you to know, comfort and luxury. Like we want to be known as the safest automotive brand around. So safety, innovation, quality, upscale driving, quality, performance, prestige. That's what Volvo stands for. I have one, so I am biased. Okay, Nicole. That's okay. We're going to be talking a little bit about why we do buy the brands that we buy and we stick with them. All right, here's a good one. What about Netflix? What do y'all think? Movies. What else comes to mind when you think about Netflix? Oh, the binging. Yes, that is so interesting. Binge your favorite show. It's always that. Yes, at-home movie entertainment. Controversy. Interesting, Crystal. Yes. And, this original content, this original content that Netflix came up being the first market in streaming, right? First to market in streaming. This fast, this entertainment. It used to be, I think, more affordable. Now the price, as they all do, keeps going up. But I do think that the content and the originality and the creativity is still there. Okay. What about this one? I know there's lots of fans. Okay. Expensive chai latte. Yes. I can't wait for, I think, is it the peppermint mocha? I think I missed the pumpkin ones, but I always get the peppermint mocha. Oh, not enough sugar-free options. That would be great feedback for them, Nicole. Hmm. So Starbucks, right? World's largest coffee house. The quality of the coffee beverages. I always think of the store atmosphere. Again, if I'm going into a Starbucks, I'm met with kind of the same atmosphere, the music, the lighting. And if I go to another Starbucks, I can probably expect the same thing, and I have, and I do, and the customer service. But it's not for everyone, and it's rather expensive, right? And there is some controversy there too. Okay, one more. What about this? Value, local, low prices. Oh, long lines. Actually, that's really true. I haven't been to a Walmart in a while, but you're right. Okay. Bargains. Treat employees awfully. Interesting. They also feel like a little bit of taking over the world to me. Retiree job. Oh, suburban sprawl. Okay. Very interesting. I love this. I'm very curious about this. So price sensitive shoppers. Welcome to Walmart greeters. I think they did away with those, but those were part of their brand for a long time. The store design, that stands out. And always low prices, always. So we're looking at these top brands that have done amazing things, are making what, billions of dollars, right? But they're enduring brands. And I want you to think about this, and I want to hear from you. What do all of these brands do well? From retail to entertainment to automotive, technology, apparel. What do they do well? Consistency. Okay. Consistency in what, Cora? Market and get out to the world, be immediately recognized. Okay. And when you say consistency, I'm curious about what that means.
So service, products, the atmosphere, like we always think of McDonald's for the bathroom stop
Yeah.
or yeah,
Okay. Got
front.
it. Yes. You're right. That's excellent. Thank you for clarifying that. Market, get out to the world to be immediately recognized. Everything is, oh, they can duplicate it. Yeah. Replication. Right. It's like they have this model, right? They got it right with their brand and now they're replicating and duplicating it and growing. Anything else you can think of that these brands do that they have in common? When you think about their customer, what do they do? How do they get to know their customer? I can hear everybody thinking. Well, let me help you out here because one of the things they do is oh, here we go. Learn what the customer needs and wants. Absolutely. And how do they do that? How do they do that? How do they learn about the customer, what they need and what they want? They listen. Okay. And how do they listen? Outreach. And outreach in what way? Processing data, analyzing the purchase history and trends. That's great. Surveys. Absolutely. And you're all onto it. And you're all actually stating it. They ask for feedback. They ask for feedback constantly and as much as possible. And if you think about other brands, because your dentist office is a brand, um, the airline you choose to fly is a brand. Think about the emails you get. How did we do? How was your experience? Can you rate us from 1 to 10 on this? What would you choose on this scale? Can you help us improve our experience? Can you give us feedback on how we did? How was it today? I mean, I get that request from just about every place I go and from almost everything that I buy. And so it's really interesting that we're getting to know, these top brands are getting to know about bettering their brands from the people that they're serving. And here's the other thing that they're getting to know. They're getting to know your values. And that's something that is really, really important because our values are critical to our brands. And I want you to think for a minute about your employer brand. And I want you to think about your career page, and I want you to think about how your company or your employer is marketing their values. Our values are, we live our values. And I am sure it's on everybody's employer page, and that is your employer brand. And then imagine this. We're showcasing these values, we're attracting talent to come because we live these values and we want you to live these values, but there's a disconnect as if, when you go into Walmart and all of a sudden the prices are not low. It's like, wait a minute, now this is confusing. This is not clear anymore. And then a brand has a problem. Then imagine your employer brand. Well, we have a community farm and we get together with all the employees and we do a team building exercise twice a year. And they follow through with that. Well, we offer town halls where we talk about the financial state of the organization and we actually are transparent about what we want to share. And that happens. Think about how your employees react to that when their values are in alignment with your organization. There's more engagement, there's more motivation, there's more productivity, there's more energy, there's more excitement, and they are better able to describe your employer brand to other people. And that's very, very important. So I want to give you a little story about a brand that was very much and still is in alignment with my values and one that I've been loyal to for over 20 years to kind of hit home what I'm talking about with values and what we just talked about, what good brands, top brands do really, really well. And I have been a customer of Honda for over 20 years. And it began when I was in my mid 20s and I decided to move to Washington, D.C. And before I left, I purchased my first car, which is a Hyundai Excel. And I'm actually pretty thrilled that Hyundai has stayed on the market and has really grown into a pretty powerful brand and people are continuing to buy it. But back then, I was really purchasing like this tin box on wheels. And they said to me, "Do you want air conditioning?" I said, "No, I don't need air conditioning. It's fine." Well, I moved to this humid, heated Washington, D.C. Huge mistake. I didn't have air conditioning. But worse than that, I was experiencing this huge amount of traffic. And as I'm coming back from visiting my family in the summer in my little, red tin box once, sitting on the beltway, waiting, going, oh my gosh, I'm going to not make it overall. So what I wanted to do, because safety is a value of mine, is I needed a new car. And I had read a lot about Honda and learned a lot about the brand when I was in graduate school. We'd studied some Six Sigma. It was a great quality product. I loved what I read about the organization. And I went and chose that brand over anyone. And I walked into Honda and I loved the customer service right away because customer service is one of my top values too. The colors were nice. I was approached right away. I felt seen. I felt heard. I was a young woman. And I thought, oh, this feels really, really good. And so I walked out of there that day leasing my first Honda. It had air conditioning and I got a sunroof too, which is pretty cool. And I felt safe. I didn't think one moment that if I broke down, which I never thought I would break down anyway, I was safe driving all around this massive area that I was unfamiliar with, but I was getting to know. And then from there, I got my first Honda. I bought it. I leased it because one of my values too is I'm going to try it out first and see. I'm not going to be loyal to this right away. But I loved it so much that I bought my second Civic. And then I had my first child, and we bought the Honda Pilot. Loved the Honda Pilot, loved how it drove, loved everything about it. Felt more like a truck to me, loved it. And then came time for the next car, which was the minivan when I was having my third child. And at that time, I was friends with a lot of preschool moms, and they said, I have the Toyota Sienna. You should really check that out. And I was skeptical, and I thought, why would I check out a new brand? I love the Honda brand, but other people are excited about it, so I'll do that. And I'll never forget the day that we drove to the Toyota dealership, and I walked in, and nobody greeted us. And I didn't understand the color scheme, and I thought, this already doesn't feel right for me. But we ended up getting in the car and test driving it. And another thing hit me. And I looked at the seats and I go, this is way luxurious. I'm going to have three kids. How many lollipops are going to get stuck, on these like plush looking seats? And how much food is going to get whipped around? And dog hair is going to be everywhere. And I immediately felt that is not in alignment with my values. The price point was higher. I don't want the most luxurious car, the best car. I kind of want the one in the middle because I have a very practical way about me. And that's also one of my values. So quickly, and there's also a safety thing that was a feature that I didn't like. And safety is, as you know, is top. So we left within probably half an hour, drove across the street to a Honda dealership I had been familiar with, walked in, test drove the minivan, and I said, do you have this in black? And we drove out of there in about 90 minutes, maybe less. But it was a no-brainer to stay with this brand that I knew so well, that I'd experienced with consistency for over 20 years. And I want to take this a step further for all of you as I've talked about how you can all help each other with brand building. I was able to articulate the Honda brand to other people, my friends, my family, my network, who said, how do you like the Honda Pilot? I love it. I love this feature. I love that my kid is safe in the back. I love this about it and the way the door comes down. I was a brand ambassador for Honda, and I could speak so well on behalf of that brand that I actually was selling cars. That is the power too of a brand. And it's something that I'm underscoring here. And it's kind of like this current because you can all help each other fine tune and develop your brands. Okay, now I've been talking for a little while. Let me just go to this. Okay. Now, we've talked about the values component, and I just put this together for you to take a look at. It's just 4 columns of values that I've come up with. And as you move through your day, and as you're thinking now and having maybe some aha moments, I want you to just look at these values and go, oh, what resonates with me? And these values are not exhaustive. So there's more values that come into play. So when you're really energized by something, what values are present here? When you feel not in alignment with something or you're not having a great experience, what values are being trodden on of mine? Where this is not in alignment, what's going on? And I'll share this with you too, that a lot of clients who come to me who are dissatisfied with their jobs, they say, I don't know why I am. I'm just not happy. And I say, well, let's take a look at your values and talk about that. Because often something's going on that goes against their values. For example, one person came to me and was looking for a job, and that's a difficult place to be, looking for a job. And sometimes there's a desperate feel to it, and sometimes I'll just take anything. But we looked at her values too. And one of the jobs she was really interested in had 20% travel. But I love everything about the job and I love it. I love it. But here's the 20% travel. And I said, let's look at your values because one of your top values is family. And if you're going to travel in your job, this goes against your values. And we had a discussion about that. And she moved on to other opportunities because it would have made her immediately dissatisfied. So keep track of your values. If a new one arrives, put it down there. And this is so important to branding. Okay, now we're going to have a little bit of fun, and I'm going to turn this back to you since I've been talking for a little while. And I want you to think about your top three strengths. Okay, I am going to give you 30 seconds to write down your top three strengths. So get your pen and paper ready, use your computer, your phone, whatever it is. All right. And that time starts now. So 30 seconds to write down your top three strengths. I will tell you as time is up. You have about 10 seconds. Okay. And time is up. So, how was that for you? Did anybody feel, and you can feel free to throw this in the chat too, difficult? Okay. Could only think of two. What else? Did people feel time pressured to do that? To come up with wait, did you say my top three? I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can locate those. I don't know if I can. Yes, hard to do on the spot. It is really hard to do. Did anybody feel great about it? If you did, chime in. That was not that hard. I feel good about that. Not natural to think of your personal strengths. Did anyone rely on perhaps the Clifton Strengths Finder? Think of those and write those down. I was curious about that. So if you'd like to share, I would love to see some of the strengths that you came up with. And it can just be a couple words or one word. And this is, again, not getting anything wrong. This is us supporting each other and learning and applying the learning, because the learning is always the most important thing. So if you would share in the chat, I would love to see some of what you came up with. Ah, big picture driven, personable networking. Okay, thanks, Nicole. Analytical and thoughtful. Anyone else? You don't have to share all three. You can share one. Intuitive. Great. Approachable, curious, structured. Interesting. And keep going. Keep sharing. This is all going to be helpful for all of you. Adaptable, relator. Okay. Did anybody have anything that resembled dependable or reliable? How about hardworking or loyal? Structure, customer service. Okay. People person. If you did, I want to offer you this. Those are words, those are descriptors, those are strengths that anyone can say, that anyone can attribute to themselves. Someone coming out of college, someone, mid-career. meaning they don't say anything or reflect anything that's unique about you. And what you want to dig into are really, what do I do really, really well? But if I'm going to go out, get out the gate and name my top strength as, I'm reliable and dependable, that doesn't say anything about your strength and your power and how unique and how talented you are. So I've had this with many clients who've come to me and I said, well, you just said that you are reliable. Well, tell me, busted. So tell me, I said to my client, tell me what reliable means. Why do you use that word? What does it mean for you? Well, people can rely on me to get something done on time and often under budget. Because what I like to do is I'd like to look at the process first. And if the process isn't working and I'm solution oriented, then I like to see what needs to improve so that we can be more efficient with getting this done. Because efficiency is really important to me. And people also come to me because I listen actively and I come up with ideas in a collaborative sense. Wow, there's so much rich data right there to pick through, to ask questions about, to be curious about. And I say, well, tell me more about your collaboration. Wait a second. So we come up with business process improvement, strategic, collaborative, all these different words that are far and away from reliable, but are really talking about what you mean, but you're not able to tap into those words and that content. And that is such a struggle to do. And it takes effort, it takes that investment, it takes prioritizing you. But I will tell you that it is worth it and it's going to be key to your future. So I have a little exercise I want you guys to do um, in breaking out into pairs. But I think PJ, in the interest of time, because this wraps up at in 15, right? I have another piece of this. And so I'm going to tie this together. And I want you to look at your elevator pitches and I want you to incorporate them and your top three strengths into this back and forth, into your pairing. And I want you to share your elevator pitches with each other. Okay? If you don't have one, that's okay too. The elevator pitch is absolutely a work in progress, but you all now have what you just named as your top three strengths. And I want you to get with each other and help each other. Look at your elevator pitch, listen. I'm curious about that. Pick a strength. Oh, this top strength, which says you are constructive, you're structured, right? You customer service. Tell me more about that. I want to offer you the opportunity to have a rich conversation, giving each other feedback and going back and forth with each other about curiosity so you can help each other better frame this. So if you're tackling your three strengths, it's like come up with a better name, a better strength than perhaps customer service. What does it mean? Try to get to the root of it. But I also want you to use your breath and to articulate back and forth with each other, sharing what is your elevator pitch. Okay. Now, PJ, before they go into that, I want to share what I think will be helpful are some sample elevator pitches. And you can absolutely take a picture of this. I will include these slides for all of you. But these are pretty powerful elevator pitches that you can use as examples. And by the way, these took a while to get to, so you do not have to out the gate sound like this. But I want you to have these so that you can see the power of these elevator pitches. The I specialize, I partner, I bridge. Wow, that bridging is such a visual. And these come from the ability to build your personal brand and to go, you know what? I do talk about bridges a lot. How can I use that? Because it's such a key visual in everything I'm trying to say and communicate. I just had in my HR job search support circle, which I'll share with you when I'm offering that again next year, a person in the group who kept saying the tap dance, the masks dropping to the stage, the theater part of it, the taking off the mask. So we reflected back to him, wow, do you hear that you're saying that about yourself? In some way, that's some kind of your brand. And he had no idea. So, what we listen for and what we offer others, again, is often not what we can pull from ourselves or recognize. And that's where you come in helping each other.
Ellen, I don't think the pitches are showing. We're not seeing them on the screen.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me go back. Thank you for that.
And how long did you want everybody in breakouts?
I think as long as you think for us to have time to, this is kind of just something where I'd like people to have fun with it, to hang on one second, PJ, to be able to just have the opportunity to practice this and to just spend some time. So do you want to say, is it 10 minutes? What do you think?
Probably a little less than that because we're already at 12:48. So I'd say maybe we'll put everybody in about 6, 7 minutes or so, give them enough time to come back and then be able to talk for a few minutes at the end.
Okay, now can you see this? And sorry, let me just go continue to share. Sorry, everybody. I'm coming up on this. Okay, can you see these?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. Thank you for letting me know. All right, and feel free to, again, I'll give these to you. You'll have them anyway, but feel free to take a picture as you're looking at things. But I just want you to have this conversation, practicing what you want. I want to change up one of my strengths. I want to give you feedback. I want to talk about my elevator pitch. So that's And so I encourage all of you to really take that networking to the next level, deepening your relationships, creating more meaningful relationships, because that is also encourage all of you to really take that networking to the next level, deepening your relationships, creating more meaningful relationships, because that is also
There we go.
full. And so I encourage all of you to really take that networking to the next level, deepening your relationships, creating more meaningful relationships, because that is also in the horizon for all of you that are going to need to do that as we work alongside these machines. So
And
that
Nicole just popped in the chat that her company doesn't have cameras and they're working on that. It's a double-edged sword, Nicole. I will tell you, as we were just talking about, sometimes it's wonderful to be on camera. As you said, the connectivity is so important. But the other challenge, I think, from HR's perspective, and you guys can chime in, but we're always on. Like literally, you're on all the time, regardless whether you're hosting or not. So Nicole, great to get a camera. I think it's wonderful for the connectivity. But I'd love phone calls just once in a while
yeah.
going forward. But anyway, let me turn it back to you, Ellen.
Yes. Okay. So how did you all do? I'd love to hear just some comments on what you talked about or something you might have come up with if you changed up one of your strengths or you practiced your elevator pitch. Who would like to share? How was it? Oh, Cora was amazing in our breakout group.
Cora was amazing, and I will
Huh?
tell you that this takes a lot longer than I have right now. But Cora was very helpful to give me some ideas. I wanted to attend this session because over the Thanksgiving holiday, this is something I need to work on, and I'll have
Great.
some time. So I really appreciate this.
What did Cora offer you? Can you tell us?
Um, well, I want to say she kind of does this a little bit, consulting wise.
Oh,
Um,
Cora.
but just,
Nice.
yeah.
Did she help you come up with a strength? Did she offer you any feedback? Did she?
Well, she actually, I think she helped Kathy a bit more because Tanya was having a difficult time coming up with some things. But I need to come up with something, that's not so boring. Like you said, those things, those strengths that everyone has. You don't want to use that, but something a bit more catchy, as I was telling Core, then I'm in human resources and I love recruiting, benefits, compliance. Yeah, that's dry. So, so you need to work on something. So it takes a little massaging. So it's something I need to work on. And that's why, again, I attended this session.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing that. And she did help me tremendously. That is so great. Oh, look at all the love here. So I think that one place I want to offer you that you can all take a look to, and this is a pre-assignment I give to some of my groups. Look at your resume, look at your bio, look at your LinkedIn profile, and look across those documents, read them with intention, and go, what are the themes here? What is popping up for me? What am I sending as a message Do I have a value proposition that I'm offering in here? What does my LinkedIn headline say? Oh, wait a minute. When I looked at my LinkedIn, I'm not optimizing it because I'm not filling out my experience. So if a reader finds you, they don't know anything about what you've done. What's in my about? What am I saying about myself? And if I'm saying I love benefits, I love recruiting, I love this, I'm a people person, well, it doesn't say much, right, about you. But when you look across those documents, I've had people say to me, I said, well, what did you experience? What happened? I'm so boring. I can't even, I don't want to look at myself. But these are the starting points. So you can see, because all of you, all of us, it's so hard to write about ourselves. And that's why all of you come into play as excellent resources for each other, because you can all help each other. Anytime someone introduces me, if they use their own words for introducing me, I say thank you, because now I have something else I can add to my brand. And I'm always listening and reaching out. Remember that feedback component. Ask people for feedback. Hey, can you give me some feedback about me? And sometimes people say, well, shouldn't I say as a leader, as this assignment? Sure, you can. But what's that person going to think of top of mind? That's what you want. Give me some feedback about me. Well, you always have a unique angle when you talk to the group. And that keeps coming up. I keep noticing that. That is excellent data for that person that they probably can't come up with or articulate themselves. So I will end by saying this was wonderful to be with all of you today. I've had so much fun. This all should be fun, right? And I have some programs and services I'm happy to share with you that can help you do more of this and absolutely, fine tune, get your brand going, own it and hone it, and you're going to feel amazing when you do. And again, think of this too. And when you read about it, and you ask AI about this, this is going to become a strategic imperative for all of you for the future, whenever that future's coming. Sooner than we know, right? But thank you for your participation. I hope to come back to talk about this again or something else. And I appreciate you, PJ, for asking me to come and be a part of your inventive, supportive, and innovative HR roundtable.
Well, thank you so much, Ellen. It honestly is everyone that is able to join that group that makes it such a pleasure and such an amazing community to be in. So thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you for the great resources today. I will certainly send a summary out. And I saw that Nicole had asked in the chat if you could also, if you want to provide me the information on the mentor program, I'll make sure to include that in the summary as well. Again, thank you everyone for joining. Take good care of yourselves. Have a fantastic rest of the day and wonderful weekend.
Happy
Bye.
Thanksgiving. Bye.